Fusion. Ha!
My God. I don't even know what to call this anime. I don't even know how to properly. I'll probably do this video too soon. I just finished binging it. I think I cried like 50 times. Look, 86, Project 86, whatever you want to call it. Man! The producers, y'all was in y'all bag writing this bad boy. Man, oh man, oh man. Yugi boy. Man. Let's get into it. What is Project 86, 86, whatever you want to call it? 4 times 2 plus 3 times 2. Look, man, the concept is absolutely nuts. Let me break it down. Okay. I'm going to break it down simple. Give you the basis of what's going on here. Look, man, you got the Republic versus these things called the Legion, right? And instead of the Republic fighting their own wars, they're using discrimination, racism, anything in the book to have other people fight their wars on their behalf. They're going through all the quarrels and plot associated with that. That is what the basis of this anime is. It's basically a war anime, but one side is basically enslaving people to fight on their behalf. And the other side is automated robots. But we'll get to that. Look, I'm getting straight into it. It's time to spoil. It's time to dive into this. It's time to have some heart-to-heart. Let's cry together. If I start crying, it is what it is. Look, man. This was crazy. Let's break it down a little bit further. The way how the Republic formed is nuts. Can you just imagine? It's just a little different. Like in American history, you know, Europeans came to Africa, said, we need some Negroes, some slaves, here's some guns, slave trade, transporting, and all that. This is this is different because you had people living in a district, multiple districts in the Republic. And then one day, they're getting attacked by foreign forces, and the Republic said, you know, on some Adolf Hitler shit, if you ain't got blue eyes and white hair, you're beneath us. Just one day out the blue. Imagine just hearing that shit. You just see it, Trump on the fucking monitors, or everybody say, you know what? If you ain't got blue eyes and white hair, you're beneath those who do. Say goodbye, saddle up. And that's what happened. So if you have like the Republic that's like this big, right? Basically what they did was they came in here, centralized it. It used to be this big. Now it's this big. And any other districts out here, y'all beneath us in here. Have fun. You lost all rights. And now you fucking in captivity. And if you want your freedom, you gotta fight for it. Squabble up. Diabolical, man. Absolutely diabolical. And so that's what happened with this district called the 86 district. They call them the 86. As basically those who don't have blue eyes and white hair, they are out there and they're in these little things called juggernauts. There are like these they're like these man-wielding automated robots. I think they have like about 6 legs. They're like spiders. Think about how a spider looks with guns on them and all that. And they're meant to fight the Legion. So when you wrap your head around that concept, you're like, this is so fucked up. You're literally discriminating against a group of people, and then you strip away their rights, and now you're making them fight. All they can do is fight. They can't work or nothing. They have to fight for their quote-unquote freedom. And now let's add another layer of fucked up. So they've done so much fighting against these robots, and we'll get to the Legion in a minute, against these robots, that the numbers of the 86 have been dwindling over the years. As you can expect, war brings casualties. So now all the adults and shit like that have been fighting the Legion. They dead. So the only thing that's left are children soldiers. So literally you just have like a range of like 12 to like 17-year-olds handling these robots and fighting on behalf of the Republic, and these are kids. Kids are fighting out here. Now, let's go a step further, because you're probably wondering, okay, well, you're not probably wondering, if you're probably watching this far, you've probably already seen it, but let's just stay with me here. We're just having a discussion. Another step further, now we have kids fighting fucking robots, children soldiers. Now you say, you know what? But the kids don't know where to go. So the people here in the newfound republic, the centralized, now are connecting virtually with the people who are fighting out there, basically with a map and shit, trying to tell them, okay, you need TAC 35 West, attack 30 East. These are called handlers. So these are the people in the Republic who are part of the military with the white hair, blue eyes. They connect with them externally, and then they basically tell them and guide them what to do. And so now that's how they're explaining in the first, 1 or 2 episodes. And it's just crazy because you can see the dynamic, right? One side of the 86, they out here fighting to the death, going crazy. While the Republic side, they're all just slobs. They're saying, they're calling them like pigs, saying just really just mean stuff to those who are like literally saving your border from getting captured by the Legion. So you're seeing that dynamic kind of play out. You're just like, what the fuck's going on here? So what are the Legions? The Legion are basically the juggernauts that the humans, the man-made ones have, but these are like automated robots. So like they don't have like any souls. We'll get there. Any souls like that. And like they just got numbers because they're robots. And robots, all you need to do is manufacture them. So they have their own manufacturing sites and everything. And they just have just a plethora of numbers, bro. They got killer bots. They're all over the place, bro. They're going crazy. So let me map this out. So you got the 86, which you can also call them processors because they are basically handling the robots, the automation machines. You got the Republic, which they're technically not handling the machines, but they're called the handlers, right? So you have a group of people, I don't know how many it is, but they have different units on the Republic side, and they tap into them, and they have these things called pararaids, which the Republic developed in order to communicate with folks at long distances, and it connects like your conscious, so you're even able to see out of somebody's eyes. Like if I connected here with all my processors out there, I'm able to tap in. It's not advised to do it, but I'm able to tap in and see the vision of like what they're looking at. I can hear the sounds. Like you could feel a lot. You can feel emotions and all that. So it's a very intimate experience being tapped in. It's not like a simple like Bluetooth connection. Like connect Siri, connect the Bluetooth over here. Like no, it's not like that. It's like it's connected to like your cerebral type shit, which still doesn't make it any better. So look, now let's kind of actually spoil it and kind of break through. There always has to be somebody who sees the light, right? There always has to be somebody who is like, wait a minute, we're doing what? That's fucked up. What's going on here? And so that is Lena on the Republic side. So she's a daughter of, used to be Colonel General of the Army. So she kind of had different experiences than everybody else because she kind of seen some things maybe firsthand or her stories, etc. So Lena is basically hearing what's going on and everything. She's worked her way up in the military rankings and everything. And so when she actually kind of gets her own units and start connecting with folks, she's like, this shit's fucked up because we're literally fighting the Legion and we're using children soldiers. So like, what are we doing? And her uncle was still in the ranks. Her dad died of a crash, yada, yada, yada. I'm not going to get to all that. Actually, I might have to explain the other side of things. But her uncle was part of the ranks and everything. He's just trying to keep her at bay, kind of shit. Like, Lena, you can do what you want, but like, you need to understand that it's going to change. And kind of like being a voice of reason for her. Not really a voice of reason, I would say, just more of like a voice of like a devil's advocate, per se. Like, yes, what we're doing is fucked up, but here's why the perception of the country, type shit. Because the news reporters and shit would literally be on in the Republic. They'd be saying, oh, look, no casualties in the war and all that. Everything's going well. We're still fighting. Everybody be all happy and shit. When that's not reality. Because like they don't deem a 86 dying, they don't deem as a casualty because they don't see them as humans anymore. It's just a crazy fucking concept. But it's honestly realistic because, especially these sheep in our society, if enough of them motherfuckers believe a certain way, it becomes fact. And what happens is, as more and more fucked up shit happens, you start forgetting how things work. I'm pretty sure people of the Republic knew, like, wait a minute, we have more diversity around here. But, you know, as generations go and time goes and more evil propaganda gets spread, you're kind of like, that means our pigs type shit. And it's just all just fucked up. So then that kind of was going on, right? And so she got like this special unit that's in the front lines. And it's called a spearhead unit, right? And so, so now she's like, you know, again with the spearhead unit, but the spearhead unit is a little different from the other units because the other units are kind of like in the second line of defense, kind of to the side, surprise, take attacks. The spearhead unit takes the shit head on. They take on the Legion's bases, they take on the Legion's main attack. So like, it's a lot more hectic for the spearhead unit. And so that's when we get connected to Sheen and the others here and the 86s. So it shows dual perspectives, right, throughout the episode. You see one side from Lena's view from Republic, and then you see the other perspective from Sheen and, you know, his comrades on the 86 side. So let's talk about the 86 side real quick. So like I said, these are all kids, right? And what's crazy, what we find out is this unit, because they said, hey, you do 5 years in the military, you're good, you could come back to the Republic, you know, your debts are paid, thank you for your service. No, sirree, Bob. Because as you'll see on this side, you don't see anybody of different culture, different race. So those two things don't align because it's like, wait a minute, where are they at? Like, where they at though? So what happens is, what they do is, as you progress through the ranks on the 86 side, they will, on your fourth, I think it was 4 years or 5 years, your fourth or fifth year, you get shipped to the spearhead unit, to where all the action, most action takes place. And essentially, it is like a suicide squad situation going on here. Because they still tell you, like, oh no, you only got 1 year. But hey, we're going to give you the toughest battles, and we're going to put you in the most fucked up situations. So your likelihood of survival is 0.5%. So that's what's going on here. So Sheen and his comrades, they used to be like 40 deep, 40, 50 deep. You know, by the middle of the season that we're watching, they down to 10 folks. 10 becomes 8. 8 becomes 6. So you see what happens. People start dying and all that shit. So you're seeing the duality between the two groups, right? You have somebody on this side who cares so much, right? Wants to do more, wants to help the 86, right? But you also have the 86 over here who are scorned, but accepted their fate of, we're fighting till we die, right? So there's a disconnect here, because even though they appreciate her efforts on this side and like, hey, we love the fact that, you know, you care for us and, you know, you want to do better for us, you're not fighting alongside of us. Yes, you have this little map and shit, but that's just a little map and shit. Like, yes, it's digital, and, you know, you can see recons and all that, but you're not on the battlefield. You don't see what we see. You don't experience what we experience. You don't eat the food that we eat. You know, you don't see your comrades die. Y'all over in the Republic saying, hey, there's 0 casualties. I'm seeing someone who I'm going to sleep with, bed with, fight a war with, die every day. You don't fucking get it. So as you can tell, tensions are flaring because it's like it can feel condescending. I can truly understand what the 86 are feeling. It can feel condescending when someone is telling you over virtually, like, no, care for you, want the best for you, and all that, but you're not fighting with us. And the people who came before you, the previous handlers, were talking fucking shit to us on a regular. So yeah, thank you, but no thank you type shit. So like there was still resentment building, you know, they were still kind of fighting. Lena on this side over here, etc. And it was clearly justified. I think both parties are justifiable in their feelings, right? You have somebody who wants to make the difference, but truly the only way to make a difference is get your bitch ass over here and fight with us. But you know that's not ideal because this battlefield shit could get ugly, you know, real quick. So let's go back to Sheen real quick. So Sheen was a little bit more level-headed than others because one, he was more experienced, and two, he had a special ability. What is this man's special ability? So what happened was Sheen's older brother was in the army, in the military, right? Family was too because they all were forced into it. And for some reason, the parents went off, they died or some shit, like fighting, etc. So the big brother had to take care of little Sheen. I think they were with the uncle or something like that. And I think just all the pressure of the war got to the big brother. And one day he just snapped on Sheen. Literally grabbed this nigga. And Sheen's a little kid. She's like 7 years old type shit. Grabbed this nigga by his throat and was choking the absolute dog shit out this. I'm talking about choking this nigga to death. To death. He literally killed him. And then like the uncle or the elbow, whoever that guy was, came in, saved him. Like just pushed the brother off of him. Yeah, did CPR on Sheen, brought Sheen back to life. So Sheen has like this crazy scar right here. It's like literally he was choking him so hard that you could still see like the skin imprints on the, like it was discolored. That's how hard this man was choking his little brother. And so I guess that experience somehow connected Sheen to like Ghost or some shit. I don't know. His special ability is he can hear the Legion. And he can like pinpoint them just like here because he's constantly hearing voices and sounds. And you probably wonder, what does that mean? I thought they were robots. So what was going on was, as the Legion was building their forces and they were killing people, they would open up the hatch of the Juggernaut and cut people's heads off. And the reason why they were doing that was they wanted to take their heads back to the base so they could psychoanalyze their brains and basically become smarter on some brainiac shit. And so with them doing that, they were like inserting consciousness into the robots. So that's why Sheen was able to hear people's souls and the cries for help. Is because their brains are being removed from the dead bodies into the robots. It's crazy work. It's absolutely crazy work. So he's able to like hear them at night and like locate them and wherever they're going. And so crazy enough, shit happened to his brother. His brother ended up going out there, fighting. He was really good at controlling the Juggernauts and shit. He ended up dying. His head got chopped off. And he ended up becoming part of Legion and all that, right? So Sheen was more composed of them because one, he had this ability, this power, and two, he's been more experienced. So he's been around longer, and he has been given the title of the Reaper, and Reaper / Undertaker. And really what that is in order to prevent the Legion from getting more heads, getting more insight, getting more knowledge, consciousness, different brains of people that they killed, especially in the Spearhead unit. Sheen, when he would notice a comrade died, he would go over there and shoot him. He would basically open the hatch and he would just shoot him in the head and just like kill them fully that like they just dead. So it was kind of like a burden that he was carrying with him because obviously these people entrusted their lives to him as the leader. of the group, and it's kind of like a damn, like I don't want this person to die without a purpose. So like he's just carrying the burdens of just everybody, just carrying that shit. So you're starting to see that play out on this side as well. Like as you know, as he's the leader, he has to be composed 24/7. He has to make decisions 24/7. He has to ensure that his people, when they go out to the battlefield, they are coming home. It doesn't matter if next day, it could be the last day for all of them or all that. They're task oriented. They're focused on the mission at hand, and that's how they roll. They operate. So you're also seeing the kind of difference in strategies here between the two sides. Now, like I said, let's go back to Lena real quick. Her experience started turning for the worse on this side. Is that she cared so much, and you got some people in this group that kind of were snapping her over the comms because she just genuinely get those scenes were flawless. And so Lena was connected, as Sheen was the leader, she was connected to him via the parade, that's what they called it. And he tried to tell her, because everybody going to battle, and it was about to go crazy. And he was trying to tell her, hey, Captain, you need to disconnect from me because, shit might get crazy. But this is before she was aware of his specific ability on being able to hear voices. And the reason why it's crazy is because you have to understand, if you're connected to somebody, you can hear them talking, and maybe you get some visuals or whatever. But if you're connected to Sheen, he could hear all these people's voices, and he can handle it because he's been doing that shit for years, right? But if you're not able to handle that, can you just imagine if you're going to battle on this side, and all of a sudden, instead of your consciousness, you hear 1,000 people's consciousness all at once on some Professor X-Man shit? Like, you're going fucking crazy. So as he's going to battle, he's trying to fight. She's still connected to him with the parade. She's hearing all these voices and shit. She's screaming. She can't even control herself, but she's like, make it stop. And then she was like, Captain, I have to disconnect. You know what I'm saying? Like, had to cut it out, and she's all strung out and shit. It was crazy. It was crazy. Just seeing that, it was just like, damn, like you just in it with this anime. You just in it, you're feeling it. So the rest of the episodes was essentially just showing different battles, showing the numbers of the 86 dwindling. And, Sheen always had the goal of finding his brother and killing him, because he's part of Legion now, and he wants to make sure, it's time to put Big Bro to rest. So long story short, ended up finding him. They had a nice little battle. He killed him. Because here's the thing. For the people who have the supreme minds, the ones, like, oh shit, like, nah, these are elite humans. The Legion will make them into, like, they call them shepherds. And shepherds is basically like, because you have like a little task force. This is the Legion I'm talking about. They have like their little little robots. They just used as numbers, like just attacking. But you got these bigger ones that are like kind of the shepherds, like the ones that command the little ones, like what to do, are strategic and all that. So the people who have elite minds go into the shepherds, because that's how you kind of build a long-term base. Like the Legion, but they smart. They robots, but they smart. They're just building. They building. They got power of numbers. So he ended up finding them as a shepherd, and they were fighting. He ends up killing them. Yada yada yada. So that was kind of like the main mission for them. That was supposed to be, because it was going to be a full-on onslaught, because the shepherds, they normally rolling with like 20, 30,000 of these little things. Like, they rolling deep. And so when the Republic ordered the spearhead, hey, yeah, y'all gotta take them out. And they were all coming towards like their final timing of their 5th year and all that. The Republic thought, yep, these niggas dead type shit. Like, y'all dead. They're cooked. They're not coming back from this. Yada, yada, yada. Well, Sheen and them ended up doing it. And it was, at this point, there's only 5 people left. Like I said earlier, on the 86 side, there's only 5 people left. I think it was 5. Raiden, Theo, Karina, Anju, and then Sheen. Yep. 5 people left. And then these 5 people are going to battle versus like 20,000 robots, bro. And the Shepherd. Like, come on. Like, the odds are just not in y'all favor whatsoever. And they already had new recruits coming in who are going to be doing their 4th and 5th year and everything. Like, it's just a cycle, bro. It's a cycle just fucked up. It's a cycle just fucked up. I was like, damn. Well, it is what it is. And Sheen actually told her prior to this, like, look, you all's method of using 86 to fight the Legion, it can only last for so long. We are already children. Like, once we dead, we're dead because they're not procreating. So if the children are the only ones left, it's just like, damn, once you go through them, y'all gonna have to fight on your own type shit. That's what he was telling her. And he was like, there's gonna be a large scale assault coming on y'all ass real soon because I can hear it. So come on y'all ass. So y'all need to prep for it because the Republic kept telling their people, oh, we're so close, just 2 more years of the war and it's gonna be over. That's not the case because these robots are not simple. They're building strategies. They're developing more tech. They're going crazy. So then, this was like the final battle, whatever. Sheen and them, they all ended up killing a brother, right? And so after that, it was kind of like, that was supposed to be a suicide mission, but they survived. So what do we do with them? They return back to base? Like, what goes on? No, bro. Sheen and the other 4 dipped. They just used the little resources they had, and then they just started going north. After they killed everybody they killed, they just start going north. And that scene was just so powerful on Lena's perspective, right? Because you're just seeing the digital board and like the little tick marks of their machines, and you're just seeing them just go north. And like they're saying, like, oh, Captain Handler, thank you for everything, yada yada yada. And at this point, you know, she booked out of her little room, whatever, that, you know, she handles everything. She's just running in the street saying like, no, don't leave, because she became so attached that you could tell it's weird, man. It's kind of like a dog in a sense. Like, this is why I think that people have dogs. It's because you just know when I come home, there is going to be a dog here chilling and be waiting to play with me and stuff like that. Like, a dog is always going to be here, right? But you're not thinking of it in the sense of like, no, you're really confining an animal in a space when there's a whole world out there. And instead of letting that animal go out there, you tell yourself, no, but he's safe in the home. He's safe in my home. I feed him. I care for him. Like, this is where he wants to be. But at the same time, it's like, how do you know that? Is this truly where the dog wants to be? Or is this all the dog knows? And I think that is the dilemma Elena was facing, as she didn't really realize that, like, these people were only confined here because y'all confined them. And now that they have a taste of freedom and they're going out there, they're not coming back. They're out. So she's running, she's crying, she's like, don't leave. And so then all you see on the digital board is like their little tick marks. Just go away. They just evaporate and they just go away. Bad jumps. I ran that scene back. I'm going to run that scene back after I get done with this video because it was just so fucking powerful, bro. Like, it just showed, like, even if you have the greatest intentions, sometimes you can be blinded by the subconscious shit of like, wait, like these people aren't your little playthings. Like, yes, it's your job, but they're not your little playthings. These are humans. And you got to kind of see that kind of realization, which is crazy. So then, now the episodes are kind of showing us what Sheen and the group was going through. And like, trust me, they're all in Legion-infested territories, right? And so they were still trying to navigate swiftly. They might be running out of resources. They didn't really have a plan, right? They've never been on this side. They haven't been far off in this area. All this is new to them. And so, long story short with that, eventually got to a point where Legion came on to them, and they had a fight. And then Sheen was trying to say like, no, y'all go be safe. Let me go fight type shit. Fuck it. Like, if I die, I die, but I just want y'all to be safe type shit. They said, fuck that, nigga, we fighting together. And they end up losing to the Legion, getting knocked out and shit. So at this point, we're thinking, fuck. Oh, Sheen's about to be part of the Legion. Well, this wasn't the case because they got so far up north, they actually got to another territory. And so once he woke up, he was like in a hospital bed. Because they were so cold for this because when they showed the Legion, the brother, when they showed Sheen's brother as a Legion, they showed him like the head up. Because it was clear, like, the Legion will chop your heads off, and, like, you're kind of just, like, a conscious head in, like, the robots and shit. So they were cold to cinematography here because they made it seem like he was, like, you couldn't see nothing underneath him. And you could only see, like, the head. So they made it seem like, ah, shit. Our boy got caught up. He's a Legion now. Maybe he's going to be part of the Legion that's going to be fighting the Republic on Lena, and that's where we're going here. No. So this nigga ended up, and the camera kind of zoomed out a little bit. You get to see his full body. So it ended up being that this new territory called Jihad, right, ended up rescuing them on the battlefield, all 5 of them. And so now they're part of, like, you know, the Jihad Empire and all that. So essentially they got to another new space, territory, etc., right? And so now it's kind of like, it was different because in this territory wasn't like the Republic. It wasn't discrimination in that sense. Not so like bold, like not like direct, like in your face. Of course, people are still gonna be racist and all that, but like in this space, it was all people, mixed colors and everything. Like even people like the Republic, like white hair, blue eyes, they were in a mix and all that. Like it was just a more melting pot of culture. So they tried to integrate the kids back into that kind of life, saying like, nah, like, look, we saved y'all. Yes, there's a war still going on. Yes, we have alliances with other countries trying to fight the Legion, but we're trying to integrate y'all back into society because y'all kids. And so, as you can imagine, that just wasn't working because all they've been knowing all their life is battle. That's all they've been knowing is this fight. And so, long story short, with that, they ended up, kind of going back into the army, helping out with the special forces of the Jihad and all that. And then there was also this little princess who was there, who was being seen as the prime minister's or president's little daughter or whatever. But really, she was part of the pre-regime of the Jihad before the Jihad overtook them. And she actually created the Legion in order to attack other forces and all that. But that's crazy. I'm gonna get into that. Anyways, so then it's kind of like now you got this group of like them 5 and like the little princess, like a little sister. She's just annoying as shit. And so now the whole purpose is like, okay, we're using these kids who have crazy abilities because they've been handling the juggernauts and all that. And the Jihad didn't have their own form of juggernauts. Like they were still fighting kind of old school with it. Like they had like these like little mini tanks. They only had like 4 legs or shit like that. So like now the lady over the special forces have now designed like a juggernaut that's it's like similar to the juggernaut the Republic had, but a little different modifications. Not too much different. So like they're learning from these kids. They're like, damn, these kids are impressive. They're well advanced, etc. So they're still going on missions and shit and like repelling from the other side. And so this is the last time I'm talking about it. So towards the end, as I said, the Legion was growing in numbers and shit. And so it got to the point where the Legion had enough advanced technology that they said, fuck it. Like, we're tired of fighting. We're tired of dividing and conquering, right? They'll attack the Republic a little bit. They'll attack the people over here. We call them China or whatever. Over here, we're attacking the United States. Or Jihad, like, kind of like over here. And they said, look, we're just unleashing a full-on onslaught on everybody. I'm talking about 50,000 heads coming this way, this way, this way. And on top of that, they developed a juggernaut. It's not a juggernaut. They developed like a Legion soldier or whatever that could man a rail gun. This gun was so fucking fat. It was so fucking fat. The power of this shit, it can shoot from long distances. Like, I'm talking about long, long distances. Like, from Russia to United States. I'm exaggerating, but it is what it is. It can shoot from that far. Imagine a scope like that far. And the impact was nuke-like. But like a baby nuke. Literally, one shot of this railgun took out 20K heads in a matter of a minute. Crazy work. Crazy work. And it could shoot down like different. It was crazy. It was crazy. So that's what happened. That's what ended up happening. Like, they use this railgun. They're sending mad forces and numbers, blowing up front lines and shit. And so, come to find out, the princess used to have this knight that did everything kind of for her and like fought to the death for her as the empire was getting taken over by jihad folks were rebelling. And he ended up dying and being part of the Legion type shit. So he was the one who was manning this cannon. And it was just like upset. I want to kill you all and all that shit. He was going ballistics. And so that was going to be like the next. That's kind of like Shin's like older brother. Like, he was a shepherd too. So like, that was like the next like main person we got to defeat, because if we allow him to shoot this cannon again, that's another 80,000 across the board getting fucked up. And not to mention, as Shin told Lena on this side of the Republic, that onslaught was coming. That's the onslaught that was coming. It was like 50K heads, and the railgun was blowing shit up type shit. And they basically got overran because the 86 got cooked. And then Lena tried to take commands of the army and was like, we gotta bring them inside the walls and da-da-da-da-da-da. Because the Republic didn't want the 86 to fight inside the walls, because if they fought inside the walls, they would be seen as Republic soldiers. You see how fucked up this shit is? This shit is crazy. But she was basically like, fuck what y'all want. These folks are coming inside these walls. Pause. And they're going to help us repel and all that. So she's basically in this charge on her own. So what ends up happening is the Republic got cooked. They got absolutely cooked. They didn't really go into detail, which I wish they did. They didn't really go into detail on how she survived. But it was like the tables completely flipped. They went from the oppressors to the oppressed, because the Legion came through, fucked all of them up, bounced, and then like other forces, like the Jihad, had to come and rescue the Republic type shit. Well, now they're there. They're like, look, all this racist shit and all this slave shit y'all got going on ain't fucking happening, because we got some of your folks, the 86, up here, and we've been studying them and all that. We know what y'all been doing to them type shit. So like, that's just cooked. It's over. So it's completely like reverse and shit in the Republic. So they were done. But anyways, so then towards the end, you started seeing, Shin, they were progressing. They was getting ready to do this, basically another suicide mission to take out this railgun, because the railgun was thought to be in the enemy's base. Okay, so when they got there through this like little fast little ship or whatever, they got there, and then it ended up being a decoy. Like, I'm trying to tell you, bro, the Legion were thinking. They were always like 2-3 steps ahead. They're just getting smarter and smarter. And so it started being decoys, trying to blow them up type shit. And then the 5 of them were on their own. They had to move forward, push forward, chase down the knight who was a shepherd and all that. And they ended up fighting finally. And then, dude died, and they reunited with the captain towards the end. Yada, yada, yada. It was beautifully written on how they were just showing Shin composure just dwindle away. You just started seeing that as the more people he was meeting, and seeing how the people he would meet would just die or be in peril. It was just slowly just starting to take away from him. Like, you can only shoulder so much, especially when there's nothing but chaos constantly around you, and you can hear voices and souls and shit. Like, that just eats and just eats and just eats. And you finally start seeing towards the end, like, the poker face he was having on was wearing off, because he couldn't think of the future. Right? He didn't have wants. People were like, oh, I want to go see the beach, or I want to go to the play. He didn't have those things. because he's been fighting for so long. So you're just seeing that true fuzziness of a character. Like, damn, like, am I just ready to die type shit? Like, I'm tired of holding on. That's what it was. It was just fatigue. He was just fatigued. He didn't want to. He didn't want to carry the burdens no more, because he was saying how it was just so lonely, as everybody else, got to die and shit, and they always relied on him to get them there, to release them from the pain and all that. It was just, man, it was just crazy seeing that breakdown, and then it felt good. Seeing that they finally got reunited with the captain, Handler 1, and she was actually on the battlefield. Like, she was like, nah, like, fuck all the processing shit in the rooms and all that. Like, nah, I'm 10 toes on the battlefield. And we fighting. We fighting. So I'm going to wrap it up. I'll wrap it up there. And I was speaking way too much, but it's a lot of things and ideologies that you could really take away from this work of art, because they just accurately displayed so many messages through these damn little machines and shit. But you could just take away so many messages, so many stories, so many tales. I don't even know what the right word is. You could just take so many insights and just like learnings from like the little things, like just seeing how groupthink can really just ruin people. Or you can see how it's a blatant disregard of other folks' rights, or like on how you have to really define what matters to you in life. You can't keep shoving stuff just inwards, because eventually it's just going to just pull, and you're not going to have no resistance left to kind of fight those thoughts, kind of fight those limiting thoughts. So I just thought it was a really well-written anime. I thought the cinematography was absolutely fantastic. Only thing I didn't like, I think there was about 2 or 3 filler recap episodes. I never really understood why people do that. Like, why are you showing me all these old episodes that we already watched, and like someone else will like narrate it? Like, I don't understand why. It's not the only show that did that before, but it was about 2 of those. It was about 2 or 3 of those, and I was just like, just take it out. Like, don't even put that, because it added nothing. Like, even at the end, it doesn't show you like anything like you haven't seen, or like some behind the scenes or something you didn't see in the original episodes. Like, these are basically just recaps. So I didn't like that piece of it. I also didn't like how they didn't go into, like I said earlier, they didn't go into detail of what really happened with the Republic. Because, I mean, the Republic were getting fucking swarmed. Like, all I saw was like some buildings busted up, some statues and all that. But like, nah, like what really went down? Like, I think it could have went a little bit more detail on like the blood and, bloodshed, and like how did Lena escape? Because she looked clean to me. So like, how, like, did she go somewhere? Like, she had a different tactic. So I felt like they got a little bit soft with those details toward the end, because like, it was heavy. The stuff in the beginning was heavy. I mean, blood and all that. I think the last few episodes were a little bit more softer on that piece. Let me say, not last thing, but close to last thing. The scene when he met Eugene. Eugene was one of these guys he met when he was in Jihad and trying to get back into society. When she met Eugene, and Eugene ended up joining the military, so they were kind of like in the same base at that point, and he was holding up that locket with his little sister, Eugene's little sister, and then the next scene was Eugene dead. Oh, man. That shit is just so like, bro, like, people don't really understand like what goes into war. I'm the type of person, I don't need to experience some shit to know how it feels. Trust me, I could see the scene of views of war, and I could completely understand like how that shit and how terrible that shit is. That's why I'm not joining the fucking military. You gotta be fucking cooked. I'm shooting myself in the head before I join the fucking military. Say goodbye. Cause that shit is just crazy. But anyways, so I didn't like the fact that they had the little filler episodes. That was weird to me, 2 or 3 of those. And then I like the fact that they didn't really go into detail of what truly happened with the Republic. But other than that, I think this was stellar production. I think it was stellar action. Great character development, great spaz out scenes, kind of on both sides, and you just really could see how war impacted folks differently, and the different perspectives of it I thought was incredible. Given some of the reasons why I didn't like, if I had to rate this out of 10, see, if it didn't have the filler, I would give it a 10 out of 10. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I have to factor that in. So I'm gonna have to give this a 9.3 out of 10. So after I finished, I went back to the first episode, because in the first episode you could hear the comms between Sheen and one of the handlers. But nigga, it was my first time watching this. So I didn't know what that was. I was confused. So now that I went back and watched the first 5 minutes of the first episode, you got to see how the Republic, the previous handlers, were talking so bad to the 86. And it just made a lot of sense. And like, a lot of people, why they didn't want that spearhead unit is because Sheen's the lead commander, and he's able to, hear the voices. So every time they connected to Sheen, they could hear the voices when they goes into battle and shit. So that's why he was breaking so many handlers. So it all started it made sense. So that's why I'm gonna go back and watch a few little episodes. But I'll give this 9.3 out of 10. It's a must watch. This anime was so insightful. I don't think I've ever cried this much watching a show in my life. I cried at least 10 to 12 times. It's probably even more than that. My eyes were just, oh my, I was cooked. I'm emotionally exhausted. I'm strangely inspired somehow. I don't know. I'm just grateful that I was able to be alive to watch this shit. To be honest, I was just grateful. That I was able. This is what life matters, bro. Life matters because you get to eat cheesecake. You got Domino's if you want to, and you can watch great ass shows like the 86, Project 86, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's a beautiful thing.
Okay.